There's a new farm in Winnsboro. It's small in footprint, but has huge potential in the impact it could soon make on the city. As Andrew Dodson, the executive director of the Delta Initiative, explains, the food is not all that will come from this small farm in the middle of town.
Communities in the Delta, in particular, have been neglected for a long time. There's been a lot of social erosion in certain pockets of them for a long time. You know, there's an agrarian past that had a lot of work for people at one time that isn't there anymore. And I've worked with a lot of adolescents, specifically young men, who are hungry for something to do, for a weight to pull. And they're often really not even sure what that looks like.
How exciting. Miss Luella would be so excited. She would.
The law of the farm is an idea that the farm is a teacher and it has certain rules. It's an unforgiving place, but it's a very effective instructor about what is reality really like, what does it require of you. And I believe it teaches you what God requires of you. You know, it requires hard work, it requires planning, it requires intentionality, it requires patience, it requires faith and trust, you know, that it's going to rain, that the sun's going to come up tomorrow. And so it's a unique thing as far as training a person to walk uprightly and training a person to be a good citizen and a good father and a good member of a family, a good son or daughter, a good mother. So we really are hoping in this context with the farm project to take those values that the Delta has in spades. I mean, there are men and women in these communities that are civic minded. They have a heart for their family, they have a heart for their church, they have a heart for their community, they know how to walk uprightly. But there are kids, there are families that don't have that. You know, there are families that are, you know, single parent households and grandmothers trying to raise 9 or 10 folks, and they just don't have the resources to instill those values. And the hope is that this work, this farm work and the law of the farm can help instruct young people in those values. And so, you know, in the years to come, in the decades to come, we have a lot more of those young men and women growing into leaders in their communities because they have been taught, you know, by the law of the farm. I think one of the reasons the social fabric of places like Winnsboro and Franklin Parish and towns in the Delta is so strong in places is because there are a lot of men and women who know that law, who have been instructed by that labor, who have, you know, earned it, you know, have earned that integrity and earned that character, and it shows. We don't really have a way to translate that and share that. I mean, it happens in families. You know, fathers are able to train their sons in that really often, but when it comes to other neighborhoods and your neighbors and folks that are sort of the least of these in our communities, that gets missed a lot. And the hope is that we can weave some of that back together. You know, I would really love to see some of the men and women that have those values coming out here and sharing them.
This project was made possible by the Como Charitable Foundation, which is the legacy of Miss Luella Snyder, a longtime resident of Winnsboro. The grand opening for the farm project will be in Winnsboro on Tuesday, July 24th. Karl will have a lot more on this story online on our Facebook page. You can find out more information on our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, we have the time of our lives with the farmer lip sync battle to give you a little boost at the end of the show. But first, we show you how working with rice farmers helps one restaurant serve up a feast for every customer. I guess you could say they are feasting on agriculture. Yeah, that's up next.